How do you deal with opposition in your organization? What I like to call, how do you deal with pushback Paul or pushback Pauline? So many leaders and business leaders, ministry leaders, company leaders are frustrated because every time they try to move the organization ahead or move the ministry forward, there's somebody in the organization that always raises objections and opposition. And there is a strategy for dealing with people that I call pushback Paul or pushback Pauline. First of all, understand this is not strange. It's not abnormal. It's par for the course. Every opposition from your team will always accompany your opportunity to get closer to your dream. I'm going to say that backwards because it'll make more sense if I say it the other way. Every opportunity to bring you closer to your dream will experience opposition from your team. One more time. Every opportunity that brings you closer to your dream will experience opposition from your team. Your dream is filled with opportunities. Your team is full of opposition because teams by nature are uncomfortable with where the leader is trying to take them, because opportunities introduce change, and change means challenges. Change means I'm not going to be comfortable anymore. It takes me into the realm of the unknown and the uncertain and the ambiguous. And most leaders are leading through ambiguity, and you have to kind of trust that where they're taking us is going to be good. It's going to be better. It's going to be better than where we are and all of that. And most people who would be honest push back on that. So how do you handle it? Well, first of all, instead of getting defensive, there are a couple of ways you want to handle pushback Paul or pushback Pauline. First of all, you want to appreciate them. Know that most pushback people are analytical people who just need time to assess the details of every new objective, every new decision. And having very analytical people on your team can be very helpful because they can help you with the details. And sometimes details are overlooked that are very important that could actually hinder progress. And so what you want to give pushback Paul or pushback Pauline the opportunity to do is to get a glimpse or a whiff of what you have in mind before you present it to the whole team. So what I do for my analytical people on my team, I like to share with them what I'm thinking about before I roll it out to the team so that they have time to embrace it, to unpack it, to think through it, and to give their feedback to it before I present it to the whole team. One is it shows them the respect and the consideration that their input is valuable. And secondly, by the time they've analyzed it and given me some feedback, when I roll it out with their analysis and feedback, they're now a proponent of the idea and not pushing back on it. That's a strategy. It is using the people who are analytical in your organization to your advantage, because many of them have insights that your goal-oriented or your opportunity-oriented people cannot see. And so you need that insight of the analysis that comes from a pushback-oriented person to help you to move the vision forward. The second way you can deal with a person, let's just say you didn't give them an opportunity ahead of time, which I think is wise before you roll out a vision or roll out an idea, is if you get pushback from somebody in a meeting and they raise an objection to the vision or to the movement, then you say to them, you know what? Thank you so much. I really appreciate that observation. I really hadn't thought of that. And you know what? I'm looking forward before our next meeting or at our next meeting from hearing every way that we can overcome the obstacle that you've raised, because that was a brilliant idea. That was brilliant of you to come up with those boundaries that we're going to have to work through and those obstacles that we're going to have to work through. And I can't wait to hear the solutions that you come up to with us or for us to overcome those. So write that down on our objective, on our agenda for next week, that Tom is going to, after this brilliant observation, is going to let us know at least about 3 ways that we can overcome and work through the objections that he raised. Thank you again so much for that. I'm so glad you pointed that out, and I can't wait to see how you're going to help us work through that. That's how you work through objections and pushback. You don't allow them to paralyze the room or paralyze the movement. You embrace them as tools to help you move forward effectively. That's how you work with opposition.